Alright, hello. Um, some of you might have seen this video that Madonna's brought out, or song, or what, I don't even know really what it is. But anyway, it's called Funeral Rites, written by Madonna. Okay, and you can see it on her channel. Um, Obviously, if you've been following my channel, you know that I've been looking at dates for the ritual death of Madonna to do with the Hoover Dam, something to do with, tying in with the Hoover Dam, being before the actual event of the Hoover Dam. And I've been looking at her potential death for several years now. But what I'll say is, I know that can sound a bit morbid, or that sounds a bit off there, Dan. You're looking at trying to pick somebody's death date. My thoughts are she's not really going to die. Okay, it's going to be a ritual. The fictional persona will die. Everybody will think Madonna's dead, and she'll be in the same place where Kobe is. I don't know where famous people hang out after they do a ritual death, but anyway, this coming out. This little thing coming out is pretty interesting in my line of investigations. Okay, the first thing to note before we even get into this, though, is, and again, I know my videos, the past, well, forever they've been bad, but this one is again going to be very, very disjointed. We're going to be all over the place with number jumps, but what you'll notice as we go through it is there is an underlying theme of certain numbers that keep cropping up. And yeah, you'll just have to, apologies, but you'll have to pay extra attention to be able to sort of keep up with what I'm saying and keep a lot of the stuff in the back of your mind while we're going through it. And another thing is, if you want to get through the video a little quicker, maybe try just changing the settings here on your viewer, whatever, and put it up to 1.25 or 1.5 times speed. You'll get through it a little bit quicker, and you'll get through all my and ahs a little bit quicker. Anyway, so this funeral rites. Okay, something interesting to note about this before we actually even get started in the video is notice the timestamp here, 222. Okay, super duper important number there. Okay, now I've just clicked over to a different version of this, and if I press my back button, actually, what it's going to do, I've got a search in here for Madonna funeral rites, and if you notice, without me hovering over it because it won't start playing, notice this top one. Notice the timestamp on the video, 222. Notice the timestamp on this next one, 222, and then we're off onto somebody else's, something that's not as official. This CR fashion book that's on this one here is also who is officially doing this, along with Madonna. Okay, but notice that those timestamps are on 222. So let's click on it now. Okay, and let's see where the timestamp goes. So do you notice that? It has stayed on 222 here. This is not normal for YouTube. Usually YouTube will drop a second off of whatever your timestamp is on your thumbnail. So for example, let's look at this. Gene Hackman death, right? Can you see this one? It's on 629 right here. This is on 629. Let me click it and you'll see what the number goes to in the actual video. Right here. Okay? 628. 628. Is this real Gene Hackman? I've just I didn't even know about this. Gene Hackman, oh dear. Superman's adversary. This is again, it gets more and more interesting. Maybe I'll be doing a video on this tomorrow. I haven't got time to do one tonight because by the time we get this one done, it's going to be late. But do you see what happened there? This went to 628. It's not on 629 anymore. That is extremely unusual. That is an abnormality there for sure, an anomaly. Yeah, if I press the back button, yeah, this is on 222. Yeah, it's on 222. And if I go back to the search, it's still on 222. This should not be on. This should be on 223. If it's going to show me 222 on the actual thing itself. So that was something I noticed that I thought was very unusual indeed. That is very rare. I mean, I've never seen a video do that before. For whatever reason, YouTube has a double number. You know, whatever your thumbnail is when you play the video, it's going to be a second less showing up on your timestamp. Oh dear. Anyway, let's crack on with it. We'll go back to the. Well, I don't really need to go back to this one, but okay. So the start of this video, as you can see, we don't. Well, I do want a little bit of music. I'll turn it up when we get to it. Actually, I'm just going to click through this. Notice the obelisks at the start of this, right? Actually, we can probably just. Oh, hang on a minute. Let's see if I can just click through it. Okay, so we got some statues. We have. This is Madonna's. She's talking about her mother here and saying goodbye to her mother when she was younger. Her mother died when she was 5 years old. Okay, we can click through that. We've got some other statues. Mary's in one of them. Then we get to this point. Oh, I'm glad it dropped on it. This outfit that she is wearing here. I got a couple of references from this. One of the references I got was a Mayday reference in A View to a Kill, but I didn't think that was the exact reference. I might, when we get up through here, what we'll do is we'll go through. I can't even think where I've even got it now. There's so much to get through here in this video as well. Darn it. Can't I even find it? We want to go to that one in a minute. There it is. So it was Mayday. Okay. A View to a Kill. And A View to a Kill, by the way, has a very similar theme to Superman. The idea that an area out in the West Coast is going to be sort of flooded and it will change the landscape out there, and somebody's going to make some money from how the landscape changes. Okay, two similar storylined films. Okay, but oh dear. Okay, so this was one of the references. So she's a bad guy with Zoran, who is Christopher Walken in this film, which of course Christopher Walken has several little connections with Madonna. At Close Range, and one of her other videos where 519 is referenced, where she dies in one of her music videos, Bad Girl. Okay. Anyway, as I say, we're rehashing a lot of the same references to a different date. You know, that's all we're doing with this one. So there was that, and the other thing that sprang to mind with that outfit, let's go back to it real quick, was Maleficent. I don't even say it. I don't know how to say it. Maleficent. I'm not saying that right, am I? Well, however you say it. Who cares? Here we are. Whatever, however you say that. I don't know why I'm having trouble with it. It's got Angelina Jolie in it, and what I want to say, there is if you go through the birthdays, obviously Angelina's 6'4". Yeah, 6'4". Okay, that's pretty important. We might get to reference that here in a little bit, but obviously she was married to Brad Pitt, which is pretty important as well, because Brad Pitt's got a huge amount of connections, you know, with all this stuff. this is what I want to show you. Ellie Fanning, okay, or Ellie Fanning. Look at the birthday, April the 9th. This is our next sort of big Hoover Dam date, April the 9th. That's my thoughts on the Hoover Dam. She's actually 26, which is interesting. April the 9th. Okay, so we have an important reference. I haven't seen the film. It's based off of, as I understand it, Sleeping Beauty or something to do with it. I don't know. Anyway, oh yeah, look, it says here Sleeping Beauty. Yeah. So I'm wondering if she's maybe Sleeping Beauty in it. I don't know. Anyway, it gets better than this, because if we go to the second, what's the release date here? 5/28. That's actually quite interesting as well, with tomorrow's date, which is, by the way, the date that we're looking at. You're probably going to see it in the thumbnail. I'm probably going to put the 28th, Madonna death date or something in the thumbnail. Obviously 5 is 2, 2 is 5, flip them, 228, right? Okay, I want to also go to the part 2 of this, okay, the sequel, I guess, and we're just going to whiz down to the release dates, and yes, you've guessed it, we've got all the numbers in this one. The 30th of September, Hoover Dam's birthday. Even got John Claude Van Damme's birthday in here, which is a 118, which is a 49 reference in the chart of Lorraine. And it's, 118 is a reference to the center balance number in the chart of Lorraine as well. Okay, so 1118, which is actually Mickey Mouse's birthday. And then, of course, we couldn't not have a 911 in here, okay, for the runtime. Okay, oh look, budget 186, not quite the right way around for Madonna, but Anyway, so this is what I was getting from that, and the other particular, where were we? The other particular thoughts there was also Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians. And if we go to the film Cruella now, I'm sure there was something interesting in here. What was Emma Stone? Can't remember. Oh yes, 116. This is going to be important, right? Because we're gonna talk about 116 again with a certain character. Actually, the character is Hugh Laurie, okay, who is in House. And the reason why we're going to get to that is because during this video, Madonna plays music from Massive Attack. Okay, so we have this reference back to Massive Attack, Teardrop as well. Teardrop, if you go to the music video for Teardrop, so we're not even got into this video yet, but so this music cuts in sort of, midway along in that video of Madonna's, and if we go to the actual Massive Attack official video for their song Teardrop, which is what Madonna's sampling, what we have in here is the baby, the child in the womb, getting ready to be born, essentially, in the womb, yeah, in the matrix, within the mother. The idea of the teardrop itself is a vesica Pisces shape coming from the eye, which is a vesica Pisces shape, and obviously when the eye is open or crying or giving birth, the tear comes, the water breaks, yada yada yada. It's the same old stuff over and over again. Rebirth, okay? The star child, yeah? How you want to look at it, right? So this is, pretty important that she uses that. And in fact, I don't know if I've got it up here. And oh dear, there's a ton of interesting numbers with. I think there's a ton of interesting numbers with. See, this is the problem. I've got stuff for another video up here still. Let's not worry about going down the Massive Attack road right now. But I've talked about Massive Attack before and done several decodes with some of their stuff. All I want to say about it is they've got a ton of interesting names and numbers that are attached to the band themselves. Okay. I believe Madonna was supposed to do, or was asked to do, the vocal for this song, and I don't know where it is, but there is a connection to 326 with some numbers with the song. But we're going to be here forever if I have to start bringing up tabs and looking at, or even searching stuff now. I'm pretty sure there was a 326 reference with that song somehow, somewhere, to do with Madonna with it. But she was supposed to do the lyrics for it. They end up getting somebody else to do it. Okay. Where do we want to go? Okay. So that's well important as well, right? And maybe I'll come back and do another part 2 to this video because there's so much to get through. So we've got that, the Maleficent reference, and again with the M here again, and the shield, and she's talking about death. Again, we got a bunch of numbers here, 38, and there's a 22 that's circled here, and we're putting out the cigarette, like the Twin Towers was the cigarette falling. Yeah, Twin Towers reference here, the burning tower. Okay, and being trodden on by what? The Black Widow, the Black Pearl, the Eclipse, the monolith. Okay. Anyway, there is a reference here. I'm not quite sure. There is definitely 4 1s here, like at the Hoover Dam, but I can't get the rest of that under our hand as well. And we go through here, and what's going to happen at this certain point? In fact, I think this is about the point where Massive Attack starts playing, and the color changes here as well. There's the Madonna. I don't really want to play too much of it. She has the Madonna. Also notice the 214 reference with the red flowers here. Okay, like the red roses. I don't know if these are all red roses or what, but that idea, back to V for Valentine's Day, and obviously 214 tying into the Queen's birthday, the 21st of April. We've got some number jumps that will tie into that as well here in a minute. We've got Christ as well pictured here, and she's got a whole bunch of stuff along here where we can take out. I believe some of these are for her siblings here, but I haven't sat down and really, done a lot. I mean, I don't know what that is there. And every time I put this on big, it's blurry anyway. So, but we got numbers here. We've got a lot of different numbers we can be looking at. We're not doing that right now. Yeah, I don't know what the hell she's wearing there. It's terrible. But anyway, this is what we call what the toffs call art, I guess. Okay, and she's talking about her mother's death and being with her father. Yada yada yada. There's the flowers again. The cigarette smoking again. There is I don't know what gun that is. If anybody knows what that is, let me know. A 38 special maybe? There was 38 on a stiletto on her high heels. Yeah, I have no idea. There's a bunch of money there. 20s. Again, the 20 was the 9/11 stuff was on the 20, wasn't it? I think. Okay. And we've got to be careful where we click in here because she's got some bits where nipples are showing as well, which is probably not good to be putting on a video for. In fact, that's it there. At the point where she's if you can see it in the small whatever that thumbnail, whatever that thing is above my cursor. She's laying down on the tombstone there. So there's a lot of bits and bobs going on. She buries that gun. There she is laying there again. Oh dear. Cover that up. I don't think it's too bad. And we got the gun again. So it's almost like a little bit of a suicidal type thing going on here. Oh dear. We didn't want that. Hopefully that won't be a problem. But yeah, I mean, just go watch it. That's the easiest thing to say. There was some other. I think she references Mother Teresa here, or something similar sounding. And they sort of have this weird embrace going on. She buries that gun, and more weird embrace stuff. And what else have we got? Yeah. Madonna's grave, maybe. I don't know. I shouldn't laugh like that, but I do believe it's going to be just a ritual thing where she's just like sat at home watching her own funeral on the TV. CR. This is the people that put on the. I guess this is something to do with some kind of magazine or something. And so CR is the initials of the woman doing that. 318. Kind of interesting as well. So without spending a whole bunch of time like decoding every last little bit of that thing, you can probably just go watch it yourself, and it's interesting. But this 222 was well interesting because let me show you something in the chart, Lorraine. And let me talk about, actually, before we talk about that, hang on a minute. Let's just re-reference this one thing. Die Another Day, the song from the film Die Another Day, with Pierce Brosnan, who kind of shares a sort of twinism with his date of the year, especially in a leap year it is anyway. And so his birthday matches up with Madonna's in a leap year. And this Die Another Day with October the 22nd, okay? And all these twos in here, 2002. So I've been playing with that idea of picking out a date that references this 1022 or a 122 numerology, which would be the death date because it's Die Another Day, okay? So die on a different day to this, but something that connects to it fairly well, right? Tomorrow's date does connect to it, and probably going to have to explain it just a little bit, but you can probably figure it out by me just saying that. Anyway, by the way, this is from the film that has the hovercraft scene at the start of it. Yeah, like the hoverboard scene. And then GoldenEye, the other one that Pierce Brosnan does, is got the dam jump scene as well, okay? So all important stuff. Anyway, and the other one other interesting thing, this is the What It Feels Like for a Girl. This is again another video where Madonna dies at the end of it, okay? This is the previous to this song. Anyway, this October the 22nd, let me show you something. A couple of interesting things. Number one, before I forget, she does have a sister, Paula, that is born on 8/22, okay? The 22nd of August. And Madonna's numbers herself, her birthday falls on the 228th day of the year. So that is 228 as well, the same as tomorrow's date. Now, what is interesting about October the 22nd is, yes, you've already figured it out, October is named for the 8th month. So 8/22 ties really nicely into this, yeah? because October is the name for the 8th month, we can just flip that to an 8, 822. So that becomes very, very interesting with this Die Another Day reference. Okay, we'll come to that one in a minute. Okay, so I think really what I need to do is go through some of the references here. Actually, I'm going to start back with, we're going to backtrack now to Hugh Laurie, right? Why am I talking about Hugh Laurie? Because there's two really nice references that have, from just the last video that I've just done, and that connects to this. Now, this song from Massive Attack, yeah? I don't know if you can hear that. That song, right? Teardrop. It is the theme music for, I know some of you would be shouting it now, if I could find it up here. This doesn't help having lots of video stuff up here. Oh, come on. Where was it? Just too much stuff. I guess what I should have been doing is deleting some of this stuff as we was going through it. It would actually be almost quicker to type it in. This is what I want. Okay, it comes from, I'm going to get back to this guy. Please don't forget, Dan, to go back to this guy here in a second. It comes from the TV show House. Yes, you know. House, MD. Hugh Laurie is House, okay? Release date. Keep paying attention to the November the 16th, okay? The 116s. Why is that important? Because obviously the star of Madonna's birthday, 168, Madonna's birthday is a reference to the number 5, okay? The golden ratio, okay? And so 116, any 1/6 numerology is going to be tying back into that, not to mention the flip around from 9/11. Yeah, 9/11 is the reversal of the golden ratio, if you like. We flip the golden ratio over, kind of. Yeah, with the hanged man. Yeah. Anyway, you can see it right here. Yeah, here's the opening theme, Teardrop by Massive. In fact, we can go and click on it now. Same having to put it in, but you can see down here it mentions somewhere about, yeah, it was the song originally sent the demo to Madonna, as he wanted her to record the vocals, okay, and then they ended up getting Elizabeth Fraser to do it, and that's an interesting birthday as well. Okay, that's a Michael Jackson date there, his birthday, and she's got some interesting connections with heaven or Las Vegas. Look at this. Choctaw twins. Choctaw twins. Interesting stuff. Anyway, I don't really want to spend a ton of time going through all of this. 4/27 was the release date. Okay, I had something for 4/27, but I can't remember what the hell it was now. Anyway, not to worry. That's probably why I didn't really want to mess with it too much. Anyway, of course, in keeping with this, just watch what they've done with their, look, for the 8 seasons from November the 16th to May the 21st. Let me just show you something. Hugh Laurie is 11/6. Okay, let's backtrack real quick. We'll come back on in a second. Now look at the leading lady, 5/21. So they've doubled down on those numbers with the run when that ran from, with kind of the numerology with Hugh and Lisa here. Okay. Also, while we're on Hugh Laurie, right? I didn't even know this until I got on it. Blackbird Leeds, from Blackbird Leeds. Man, Not, it's kind of unusual because he went to Eton, right, which is posh school for those of you that are not English. But there's a lot of politicians go there and stuff. Blackbird Leys is not a really great place. It's just outside of Oxford. Well, it's kind of a suburb of Oxford. It is not a very. I'm imagining he lived in the posh part of Blackbird Leys. Anyway, I didn't know that. It's just interesting. Well, if you don't know, Oxford's my local. I was born in Oxford, so. What did I want to mention about this? Look at this. It appears in 101 Dalmatians. Okay, so there was some interesting stuff with his appearances, but really, this whole thing with House. Okay, look at this with the H here inside the box, like the element hydrogen. Okay, and obviously hydrogen, H2O, water, and obviously hydro means liquid or water. Okay, so it's very interesting with the idea of the Hoover Dam. Okay, well, the H for the Hoover as well. Element number one. What was I going to mention? So this is what's actually also very, very interesting about Hugh Laurie, and then we'll backtrack to this other dude so we can see his thingamajig here. Well, we have to go back on. Hang on, click it on him again. Blackadder the Second. I think I kind of referenced Blackadder in the last video when we were talking about the Earl of Essex. And Blackadder the Second is when they set Blackadder in that time period with Queen Elizabeth I. Okay. And you'll notice that, look, as a Lord Blackadder as a Tudor courtier, attempting to win the favour of the Queen while avoiding execution by decapitation. Yeah. A fate that befell many of her suitors, right? So this idea of 225, that date, and the lopping off of the head and all that last video that I did, it's super interesting that this kind of ties back in with all that. Okay, and obviously Rowan Atkinson's the one who's playing Blackadder. Okay, and again with the 1-6 reference. Okay. And again, this dude used to just live a couple of miles away from me. I actually met him on a couple of occasions. But what the hell I want to do? Anyway, I did have a picture up. Where is it? Before we go, let's backtrack again. So I'm going to show you a picture of Blackadder, and you can decide for yourself whether or not there's some kind of connection there. But if you're not English and you've not seen Blackadder, I'd highly recommend. It's really good comedy, English comedy. So there you go. If you've not seen it and you're not English, it's a good one to go dig out and try and watch. I think the later versions of it are, because they do different versions of it in different time periods, and the later versions generally are better. Okay, we've done him. Back off of, so keep that 611 in your back of your mind as well. And now let's look at his buddy in the film. One of the other sort of main characters. This dude who Robert Leonard, right? He is best known for his portrayal of Neil Perry. Oh, we had to have a Perry reference in Dead Poets Society. Interesting. With this, I just thought it was interesting with this song that she's just done, because it's more like it's not really like it's more like a poem, isn't it? Than I don't know about a poem, but I don't know. It's just I don't know. I don't know what you'd even call it, but what Madonna's just done there. But I just thought I was interested with Dead Poets Society. Anyway, um, James Wilson. Okay, and Wilson, of course, I think it's Mount Wilson right next to the Hoover Dam, or something Wilson is right next to the Hoover Dam. So let's look at his birthday. Yes, it's the February the 28th. Okay, so we've got somebody with tomorrow's date in the show as well that is high up the list, so to speak, of the important characters in the show. So I thought that was fairly interesting. Okay, because literally, I'm gonna say I don't even remember her and old Billy off of Neighbours being in it. Yeah, but I mean these were the sort of main dudes here. Those first four. What was Omar? 20th of July. We've done her now, right? So we've done all that now. So that was an interesting connection. Let's just go backtrack and find the picture of Blackadder so I can show you. Like, here's Robert Devereaux with the 225. Now, what is interesting about 225 is that Madonna's brother Anthony, died on 225 on the 25th of February, not that long ago, a couple of years ago maybe. And he is also a 5-3 reference with his birthday, and we'll be getting onto some 5-3 numbers here in a minute as well. But again, look at this picture here. This is actually the next generation of the Robert Devereaux, Earl of Essex. So this is the third. If we go back to the one what I was discussing, you can see, well, they're still wearing this sort of funny neck collar thing. Okay, but I just thought this was a better picture. His son. Now let's look at Blackadder. A picture taken from Blackadder now. Okay, and here's Queen Elizabeth I. Could it be that this is based off of the idea of the Earl of Essex? Maybe, could be, or it could be one of the other ones. So I just thought it was interesting with what's been going on. Of course, by the way, I believe, boy, we'll have to look them up in a minute. Madonna's mother and I think grandmother have both got interesting birthdays, but for the life of me, I can't remember. It's like most of these dates that I do, if you go and look up Madonna's family, most of them have a date that ties into one of the, you could tie one of her relations into most of my videos with the birthday or a death date. Okay. Just an idea, Dan. Get rid of these tabs as you're going along, but you're not doing it. Okay. Okay. So I guess I need to jump around here. Let's just look at, because she mentions her mother and father in the actual what have I got up here? I've got to go back over all this stuff now. Oh dear. I think I've got some other stuff up here as well. 93 years old, that's interesting. Who's that girl? Okay, we're going to have to get on to. Oh, I want to show you one more thing on Blackadder. Head. This is where they're dealing with the plot of being beheaded. Okay. This particular episode aired on 116 again. I just thought it was interesting tying back into the 225 and Devereux and the Earl of Essex. Okay, so we'll just get rid of that one. I just thought it was worth a mention. Now, what else do I have up here? Okay, oh, we're going to do that in a minute. Okay, and I want to do done those. This is just, I know this sucks, I'm sorry, but Mother Teresa, we didn't really talk about Mother Teresa, but it's 826 or 268, but I just thought it was interesting as well because we're going to be talking about perfect numbers here in a minute, and she reflects two perfect numbers in her date of birth, which is the number 6 and the number 28, which of course we're going to talk about in just a second. Okay, I think we've done all that. I felt like I had a tab up here with some of Madonna's. We can just do a few of the birthdays. Anthony Ciccone, born 5'3", died 225. Okay, and then what was Martin? I can't remember all these. He's the 15th of June, so he's a day off of Trump. This one, Melanie, don't have a birthday for her. Now Christopher was just recent, his death, which was Clock Tower Day, October the 4th, 24, and notice he was born on JFK's assassination date, 11/22. Okay, and this is Paula, who is an 8/22 as well. So she's got a sister. Well, she's got several sisters, but and then I don't know if we had. Let me go to this. So there's her dad. Okay, he's a 6'2". So with all the blooming train references and all the rest of it with the 6'2", he's got that going for him with 93, being 93 years old. And then, well, let's just click back to this because we want to do her mother, and she is 7'11", okay, and died 12/1, okay, or 1/12, which again, I think I've got something for 1/12. Maybe not. No, I don't think I do. I can't remember. I feel like there's some gematria that connects to 1/12 Madonna. It's something obvious as well. Okay. Well, anyway, I'll tell you, that's another interesting thing as well. Was her one of her grandmothers, I believe, children, parents. Was it her? March the 9th. Yeah, she would have been 100 years old. She was born June 19th, this is going to become significant here. So this would be Madonna's maternal great grandma. Okay, I think mother, grandma, no, grandma. Anyway, her grandma, June the 19th, Juneteenth. Okay, Juneteenth. So this is pretty interesting, and her maiden name is Fortin. Okay, and it just made me think of 14 and all the numbers stuff with the clock tower with 14. But yeah, you see, this is what I'm saying about her family. You know, there's so many interesting dates. So you know, again, we got a 3/9 connecting to Juneteenth. Okay, and we'll look at Juneteenth and all these number jumps we can do now. Let's just go through them. Okay, so I'm sorry about this video. It's just absolutely terrible. So the first person I got in here is this 810. Now this is another thing with this 810 and this 163. Okay, 810 is Oh, yeah, I've got her up here now. Oh, blooming out. And there's some really good number jumps in here, by the way, when we get back into it. Rosanna Arquette, who is, yes, she's in Desperately Seeking Susan, so she's playing Madonna's, if you like, Madonna's twin in this in the film. It's not really technically a twin, but there is they are kind of switching identities, so to speak. Um, and then we've got Pulp Fiction as well, where there's this connection with Eric Stoltz and John Travolta, and there's a whole bunch of little connections here. And obviously, what's her face there is also in Kill Bill. Oh dear, Kill the Dollar Bill. So there's a ton of connections. Obviously, the connections in here with David Arquette, and then that connects back to blooming Friends with Monica. Um, because he was married to Courtney Cox and was also in Scream with her. Yeah, it just goes around in circles with all these connections, right? But what is interesting is the 329 release date of this, okay? Because of course 329 and 326 are these are kind of related numbers, okay, with the 6 and the 9 switching, okay. We'll probably just leave it at that for now. But this Desperately Seeking Susan date, why this is so interesting is because if you recall, we did the decode with the Freightliner stuff shone up on the Hoover Dam, and in fact I've got another little thing about the Freightliner connection, which is a film called Tank Girl. There is another scene in that film. You can actually watch it right now on YouTube. It's an absolute load of crud, but I sat through it because the actress playing the role of Tank Girl, I felt like she was sort of doing a little bit of a Madonna sort of who's that girl kind of, I don't know, character. Um, and again, there was this element of the cartoon in that film and in Who's That Girl. Anyway, to cut a long story short, in that particular film, they have a scene where a semi truck, goes over a cliff. Yeah, it's a big articulated truck. And again, with the Freightliner at the Hoover Dam, and I was just thinking, oh dear, this is just ties together. Wait, I'll do a video on it if I get a minute, but this is way too. It's just too connected. Anyway, Rosanna Arquette's birthday through to tomorrow's date, 228, is 163 days, and shone up on the Hoover Dam was Colne FC, which is 163, with the twin towers of Cologne Colne Cathedral. So her being a twin with Rosanna Arquette, and then the goat symbolism, which is one of the goats goes off into the wilderness and is saved, the other goat is sacrificed, yeah, is made the scapegoat. And so this was interesting with the twinism and the distance between maybe one and the death of the other being 163, because of course 163 is what was shone on the Hoover Dam with the goat, okay, referencing that idea of the sacrificial goat. Ah, 163 is also 18 divided by 11, which is how you get the golden ratio, or how you produce the golden ratio in the chart of Lorraine, or any Fibonacci sequence will give you an approximation of the golden ratio, dividing one number by the previous number. Okay, and 1.636363 happens to be the 1118 Mickey Mouse number that's in the center of table there. Okay, so 1118, which is our center balance number, 163, almost perfectly represents that number. Okay. T, please. So that was interesting with the twinism there. And obviously there's a ton of references in Desperately Seeking Susan to the dollar bill and so forth and so on, with the Eye of Providence jacket. So this takes us to Juneteenth. Okay. The reason why I'm going to Juneteenth as well is because, if I could find it, well, anyway, I've got it somewhere. We'll come on to it in a minute. Is again her grandmother, again the idea of holiday, the song. Obviously, there's several references to holiday with that song. Christmas, Labor Day, and of course Juneteenth now as well. And also in Back to the Future, when the DeLorean gets smashed up, right as Marty is rolling across the railroad crossing there is a 619 on one of the cars that is waiting at the railroad crossing, okay, before the DeLorean gets smashed. And again, that scene with the DeLorean getting smashed ties back into Who's That Girl? Okay, 254, so obviously going the other way, it's 111. You know, if you click up here, 111, and this is obviously a date that now references back to 9/11 with the 254th day of the year. 111's Queen's birthday, of course, and those two dates are twin dates. So there's a nice reference there. 814, which is the sort of hidden 28 days earlier than 9/11, which is an important sequence within Lucas numbers. So 28 days earlier, right, is this 814, which is again 148 is a reference to Pluto. And what have we got? We've got the Matthew Perry numbers, the 19th of August, 3 days after her birthday inclusive, you know, and you can flip these. What's special about these numbers is you can flip them around, just do a rotation, and you've got Madonna's numbers, and rotate the other way, you've got the son's numbers, you've got Matthew Perry's numbers. Okay, the mother and the son. Right, what else we got? Crack on. Christmas. I've included the end date, 66 days. She's 66 years old this year, and 66.99 is going to be pretty important as we go through here. So just keep that in the back of your mind, okay? Again, 28. I think I mentioned this again in the 225 video, or I did a subsequent video about this 28. It's a perfect number, okay? It's the second perfect number to the second 228. Okay, the second perfect number is 28. The first perfect number is 6, I think. So 1 and 6 first, 1, 6. Okay, so the first perfect number is a 16 reference. Again, the start of Madonna's birthday. 228 again is the second perfect number is 28. And again, with Mother Teresa, we had the 26th of August, yeah, 268. Those numbers referenced. So that's well interesting. 18th composite. Right. Important. Oh, and one other thing, just before hang on a minute, where we are, second one down there. Before we get off of this, don't forget also Rocco's birthday is on the 11th of August as well, the day after Arquette's, and we got the 164 Trump numbers, but also Doc's address, yeah, 1640 Riverside Drive. Okay. Again, what does it mean? I don't know. If you flip back, we've got the 201 going on here, and then Arquette's was 202. Okay, so it's just interesting stuff. 201, Zach's always talking about that on Gematria Effect News. Okay. What else do I want to mention about Rocco? I don't know. Let's not worry about it. I just want to get through these number jumps. We were down here. So we did that one. Okay, 4-9 this next day for the Hoover Dam. What we've got coming up, 40 days, or if you want to include 41, that's pretty ominous as well with clock tower numbers. Okay, and the 40 days out into the wilderness, or fasting for 40 days. Very interesting indeed. And 4-9 as well is a there's a real, we might come on to it if I well, we'll get down to it in a minute, but 4-9 is a huge reference with Madonna. Okay, so this idea of the Hoover Dam maybe falling on 4-9 is again ties back in with Madonna. Okay, Billy Idol's birthday, 91 days on. I haven't done the full birthday, I just went from last year. 91 days again. This is super important with Madonna. I've done quite a bit of 9-1 numerology with her. Guy Ritchie, of course, is 9-10, the 10th of September. What else? Oh, and there's a fairground reference, Oxford Fair. My local big fair is what do I say? It's St Giles's Day. Okay, St Giles's Fair. It's actually, I would say it's up there, probably top 10 biggest fairs in England. And so, and I think it's actually one of the biggest it might potentially be the biggest street fair in England, where they actually close the street down as well. I'm not sure. Oh, anyway, it's a significant event, and it's St Giles's Fair. Okay, St Giles's Day is usually the first Monday I think it's the first Monday after a full Sunday or something like that in in September. I'm probably messing that up, but what's the interesting reference there is the time of Labor Day. Okay, because obviously Labor Day is the first Monday in September as well, so it's not exactly the same, but it ties in. Okay, and I might have said that wrong actually with St Giles's Day, but well, anyway. What else we got? To me, I would imagine that maybe St Giles's Day and Labor Day in America are actually kind of closely tied. Christmas, 66 days. We did that. I'm going backwards here. I wanted to do for people that have been following the channel. We've been looking at this mirror date, and what was interesting was we've got a mirror number 52, which also represents 52. Also represents the chalice or the cup of Christ. Okay, and 52 obviously referenced a hell of a lot right at the start of Back to the Future, and so this is really interesting because this date tied back in with Diana, and Diana and Di ties back into Die Another Day, and also the numbers D and I is 4-9, which ties back into our date for the Hoover Dam coming up. Okay. Oh dear. Okay, so 52, that was important, and of course, well, let me just mention something as well, is that if you include end date, obviously you're going to get 53, and again, going back the other way with that mirror date, we're back to 11/16, which I thought was just really interesting. And again, I think 11/16, if I'm right, if you were just to mirror that date now, do the other twin date of the year, I believe I reckon that's Valentine's Day, with her carrying the roses, and then talking about death and her other brother, and Anthony. Okay, 5/3, his birthday. Again, 5/3 or 5/2, depending on whether you include the end date. And of course, if you do the full span, it's going to be 53 plus 53 minus 1, because you don't want to count this middle date twice, which would be 105 days. Okay, So that is interesting because 105 days from 9/11 through to Christmas is 105 days. So that's a super significant day. Now we're getting onto the really interesting stuff now. So from the last eclipse. Now, don't forget what Madonna's referencing here with the wearing all the black and everything, because obviously she's become the old crone, and that is the idea of the moon coming in front of the sun. One way or the other, those two things have aligned where the moon is now blocking out the sun from us, okay? So we are in the tomb, we're in darkness, we're in death. Hence why she's wearing black, right? 4/8, the last eclipse. Yeah, well, it was the last eclipse, but the big one. Through to, again, potentially her death date. 326 days. It's 326. Now, this is so significant, right? 326 is highly significant, right? Let me show you something. And I think I have it actually down here as well, because I want to go through. Let's start here. So 326, and like I said, I think there was I guess I should have scrolled down more on that massive attack thing. I think there was a release date on it. Oh dear. Oh, let's not worry about it. I think there was a 326 release date of something to do with Massive Attack and that song. I'll have to dig it up and look at it, put it in the comments or something. But the birthday of the Hoover Dam, 30th of September 1935 through to New Year's Eve this year. So what has happened here is this is at 32,600, right? So 326 is essentially aligning, these zeros here are essentially aligning with the days of the year, you know, as we go for the first day, the second day, so these zeros will start counting up. Okay, so this has come to a nice round figure at this point in time. Again, her song for the film Who's That Girl, which was, you know, the same song titled Who's That Girl by Madonna. Her song was originally released on 326. They subsequently changed the date in Wikipedia, but 326 was the original release date of it. Actually, it was 623, sorry. Using my numbers around the wrong way, but it was June the 23rd when it was released. Again, it's another personal reference for me that day. So this is interesting because we are now from the 8/4 eclipse, and there's something significant to do with pi with Madonna and the 8/4 eclipse, which I've been a little while ago. But what's also interesting is her tour date, when she started her tour on the other eclipse date. Okay, so she started her celebration tour, the Celebration of Life maybe tour, 10/14. Okay, the 14th of October, and from that date through to the same day where the Hoover Dam is kind of at that 326, it is 444 days. Oh dear, that thing. 444 days. So we've got really nice kind of synchronicity there, right? And then from the one that I just showed you, from the 8/4 through to this particular date, tomorrow, potential death date 326 again. So all these numbers are aligning. Now, if we were to go, let me show you something really, really quickly. If we were now to go to through to her with the full, I think I clicked the end date on there because it made it look nicer. And in fact, with the 59 is important as well. Okay, that 59 is actually important. I want to say there was someone else that connected with the 59. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, 3266. Okay, so we've got this again. This 6 is a duplicate. You can kind of move that back over the top of that one and still have 326. It's this, kind of a bit of a cheat that I do. It's sort of the 11 is 1, ace is high reference where you can just switch, 11 to 1, so switch the 66 to just a 6. So we have the 326 there. But if we click on now and we do, let's go to the 9th of, what you'll see is that the 9th is the last day that we are in the 326. Okay, and also with the 99 and the 66 switch, it's not quite the same, but this idea of the 69. Okay, but this is the last day before we go into 327. Okay, so again, that's, to me, is fairly significant. 99 red balloons, that song has a reference to the dam in it. Don't leave me in the dam, Mickey. Okay. What else I want to show you here? What was this one? Okay, this was the other eclipse. Okay, that earlier one. It's 2748 days, which was, I don't think there was anything that interesting about this one actually. No, there wasn't. 321 on the composite here. I wanted to show you something else. So you recall that she's just re-released this Live to Tell song, and she did a video for it that was like, again, dealing with dead people, remembering dead people, and it was from the tour, and the whole thing had a lot of Hoover Dam references in it, with how everything was set up and the way the lights were working and everything. Okay, so there was a lot of Hoover Dam references there. Again, note the original release date of this. Okay, 326, and this is the song that goes with the film Close at Range, or at Close Range, sorry, and it's got her husband in it, Sean Penn, and also again Christopher Walken. Okay, so another character showing up again. Okay, and the 326. This is important because they made the song length on that re-release 519. Okay, and actually, if we go to, let's just put a date in here. Let's do her birthday. I don't know if we even did her birthday yet, did we? Sorry. If you'll notice that from her birthday to that day, or yesterday even, and I think maybe did she release that yesterday or the day before? The this thing, I don't know. It says 14 hours ago. That might need refreshing. Hang on a minute. Let's just do this and let's just see. I think she released it. I was looking at it last night, so it may have. I think it was released on the 26th, one day ago. Yeah. So, but now I've got. Now I don't know where the hell I'm at. 195. That was. I had been almost tempted to do a video about it yesterday, because this, of course, is a pi number here with the 227. 22 divided by 7 gives you an approximation of pi, and also the 611 here. So this is the day before. So actually tonight right now going into tomorrow would be a good double date reference. But anyway, oh dear Dan, come on. Again, 196, remember the 19th of Juneteenth, 196. Yeah. Remember the car on the crossing when the same scene, well, it's a very similar scene from Who's That Girl is played out in Back to the Future. Okay, except there's the accident happens in Back to the Future. Okay, and again, Back to the Future Day again is a 27 reference, so it was kind of interesting with today going into tomorrow as well. What else we got? Where did we get to? I don't know. So that was the start of her tour, 503 days through, which is the 53, like her brother. Oh, that was her birthday. We were just about to come on to it. What have I got in here? Oh, just some gematria. There wasn't anything really interesting in here. Malice, oh, I can't say it. 88 and the 182, and also her sister, who was born on 822. She also has the 221 in her numerology in the 49, which I thought was kind of very interesting, and even the 103 or 13 numbers. So that was really kind of interesting. And then you got house and 68 and a reverse here over here, and then it is what it is. I tend to not like unless we got like 2 or 3 numbers completely matching. It's interesting to see the numbers, but I don't know. Look, Blackadder and Madam X, we got a 61 on each one of those as well. And again with the 28, 128 here as well. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't really have much to say about that right there. Now, I'm going to show you this reference and why this is so important. And actually, there's something fascinating. If you watch the last video, I could explain something as well about the goddess number in there as well. Do I do it or not? Yeah, let's go to it. And we're going to, now I've still got to do all this. Let's do this chart. Okay, down the bottom of this chart, let me show you 2 lines. Don't worry about everything here. This line here is Fibonacci numbers, and this line here is actual numbers of pi, hence why we've got the point here. And what I've done is I've aligned Fibonacci numbers, we've got 24 digits. I've aligned them with the first 24 digits of pi, actual pi. And the way they align is through this 358 number here. Obviously Christmas Eve is the 358th day of the year. So what is interesting about this is when you look where the 911 is in Fibonacci, okay, then you'll see that the 926, like with Linda Hamilton, Olivia Newton-John, their birthdays, you see the 926 aligns with 911. Okay, so that's fairly fascinating. But this number that I'm just about to show you with Madonna is actually right here. Okay, and again that aligns with her hubby's ex-hubby's Sean Penn's. Why have I put the line there? I don't know. His birthday, 8/17. Okay, and so these numbers in here are aligning, and of course you can see the 239 that's in there as well that aligns with Sean Penn here. I tell you what, the connections are just mental. The personal connections, which I might do a video on one day, but I just hate to give out like tons of personal information about birthdays and stuff. But anyway, this is just a mental personal reference. But this number here, 23979, I'm going to show you something. What am I going to show you? Get rid of that a minute. This is it, 23979. From her birthday, took us through to 49, which is the day after the eclipse. Okay, that's the day after the eclipse. So that is absolutely mental. That number, this pi number right here, that connects back to obviously her husband, which the idea of marriage and the white wedding is super important because that's what's going on. Okay, with the whole idea of the eclipses and all this stuff is again, it's a union that then turns sour and then is renewed. Okay, the idea of the ring, the wedding ring. Okay, there's a ton of, I mean, it's just the diamond ring. There's a ton of references um, with that. But this is the 4-9 day. Okay, so she references the 4-9 day, and again, I can look to the day before actually, and it's just absolutely crazy reference for me again. Okay, again, just absolutely crazy reference for me. So I don't know what to say about it. What's interesting about this again is it's the 239, and now we're the other way around. With the numbers there, we're at the 326. Okay, so again, when we just did all that stuff, back down in here. Okay, we're at the 32699. Okay, I know this is not making much sense to people, I'm sure, but again, here's another little reference here, and in fact, I need to go to this one first and show you it. From the Hoover Dam through to this particular date, so the Hoover Dam's birthday through to tomorrow's date, soon will be tomorrow's date, there's 151 days, right? If I go the other way, if I go from tomorrow's date through 151 days, it's the white wedding. What I was just talking about, the wedding. This is the actual white wedding of Diana and Charlie Boy, on the 29th of July. And Billy Idol and Madonna also have, 9:30 is kind of their white wedding, where their palindromic numbers meet up, or at least two of their palindromic numbers met up. Madonna's was, I think it was 241. 241, 42, and 521, 52. I think were the numbers, respectively, for Madonna and Billy Idol. Those palindromic numbers, the midpoint between those two number jumps from their birthdays is, or was, the Hoover Dam's birthday last year. Okay, so 9:30. So again, with the white wedding, I mean, it's just, boy oh boy. Okay, what else I've got to show? So that we've done that little interesting bit. From Christmas, I'm going to show you, this is interesting as well. Let me show you a number jump here first, which is from Christmas 2000 through to this particular day. And the reason why we pick Christmas 2000 is for this reason, because, of course, from 1225, if you use that as the conception date now, okay, if you use that as the conception date, Christmas as the conception date, 9/11 becomes the actual birth. Okay, so conception, around that time is when life starts, and this is when the baby is birthed. Okay, so it's super interesting. And again, I'm just using, that's when the baby would be birthed, Christ would be birthed. 260 days. Obviously, I've got it written down in here. The average pregnancy, obviously, 266 days. So it's a very close. Obviously, there's several days either direction there. In fact, 234 to 298 days. So there's quite a variation. So 266 and 260 there. Super duper interesting. But the reason why is, that's the reason why you do that, why I've been looking at that number jump recently, is going from Christmas 2000, which would be the conception date, through to Madonna's death date here. And again, we're dealing with Madonna, right? So we want to be looking at these kind of dates that deal with eclipses, yeah, Easter. In fact, I haven't done any Easter jumps, and deals with what else? Christmas. Christmas. What's interesting about this number? Look at this. It's the 1100th prime number. That is just insane. Composite. Look at this. Look at this. Composite. The 831st composite number is 1066. 166. Okay. 10066. Again, Madonna numbers. Kind of interesting. What else? I think I've about done everything now. Oh, this is really interesting as well, right? Look at the release date here of Who's That Girl? Okay, Who's That Girl? Remember, Who is the Hoover Dam. Who's That Girl released, again, the runtime, 94 minutes, 9/4, okay? But look at the release date here, 8/7/87, okay? Right, crack on, Dan. 8/7/87 through to this particular date, okay. 1300. Okay, nothing really that interesting about that. But again, we click on it and check this out. It's the 1623rd prime. We got the 623 in here as well on a prime number, 1623. It's just absolutely mental. Look, this octal number. I don't know what this means, but I don't know what this means at all down here. But again, 32631. Oh, kind of interesting, isn't it? That definitely, that is well interesting with the 623 showing up in a prime. I know it's 1623, but I thought that's fairly significant, to be quite honest, from the release of Who's That Girl through to tomorrow's particular date. What else have we got? Oh, that was from the Hoover Dam through. I showed you that already. 3266. There wasn't anything really interesting for this. This was I don't think there was anything interesting on the number either. No. Oh, composite number 9777. Gold 79. And I've shown you this. So that's that number jump that ties us back in with pi, which ties us to 9/4, and then from there we're tying back to the Hoover Dam, 9/4 this year, and her 326. I'm sorry that is so disjointed and all over the blooming place, but you can see I just, I gotta, even the halftime stuff, 46, Super Bowl 46, and I felt like there was a 4-6 reference in there. Was that? No, that was Angelina Jolie's birthday. And then, of course, she does at the end of the Super Bowl, she has, what is at the end of the Super Bowl? Come on. Don't know. I thought I had it up here. Oh well, who knows? Like a Prayer, there it is. Like a Prayer, released 3/3, the 3rd of March. That would be, 4 days on. Yeah, Lazarus Resurrection 3/3, and then also, it might be worth just looking very, very quickly while we're on here. Let's just look at Easter real quick. 51 days, no doubt. And I guess you can click on them, make a 52 out of that as well, which is pretty darn interesting. Yeah, remember 105, 9/11 to Christmas, 105 days. So let me show you just two more things and then we'll be done. I'm sorry it's taken so long, but it just is what it is. Chart one. We're going to be over into blooming the next day as well, which is a bit annoying. I wanted to put this out on the 27th. I know there's a ton of stuff I've missed out of here, but the first thing to note is Madonna's mother, yeah, with her 7-Eleven, and then again, if we're looking, here's a 28 here in the chart, okay. Again, okay, yeah, it looks a bit fudgy, but you know, this kind of stuff, I think, you know, I think it's important. Let me show you some cross references now with the 28 as well, right? So if we actually cross reference 28, it comes out on this 47. Okay, yes, we've got Donald Trump in now. It's 47th president. Okay, but if we were to total all these numbers up to this point, right? The total up to this point, you just take one number, you just jump. The total is going to be one less than this number right here, okay? So it's actually 122, okay? Again, we're dealing with this date that, you know, 10/22, die another day, and we're changing that 10 to an 8 because of October and 8/22, you know? Okay, so 28, 122 is tying into it. Again, if you look at 2 and 12, so another 122, yeah, 122, it's actually 322, and technically speaking, her video that was 2 minutes and 22 seconds long should have actually been 223 seconds long in order for it to show up as 222 as you know on the timestamp as it's playing, you know. So that again is interesting. And again, if you do the total, what was I going to say? I feel like there was something I was just about to say and I can't remember what it was now. No, I've lost my train of thought. Anyway, right. So there's a couple of little connections with 222, right? Hang on a minute. I'm not done with the 222 references yet. So let's look at her video length, which was 222. So this is the total for the 8th column. Okay, so we're still on 8th, and we're 222 here, right? And the other cross-reference number, of course, is 10. Okay, and so, of course, 10, 22, die another day, and 822, and with her 222 on the video, okay? Not to mention that 222 is super duper important because it combines with 143 to produce a full year, so 365 days. And what's cool about 143, 1943 was Operation Chastise, which was Dam Busters, and 55 and 88, which is the Twin Towers here, adds up to 143. Okay, now the reason why it doesn't add up to, why we have a difference here with this 139 is because these numbers coming across, this top line is just a regular old number line, which again, it changes the, you know, if I add these two columns up here separately, it's going to change this from 139 to 143. Okay, and of course 139, this is our Hoover Dam numbers, yeah? The 1st of March and the 30th of September combined all in one number. I think that's deliberate. And I also think that on the dollar bill, the 319 reference is literally to the Hoover Dam. So there's an old $1 bill, 1896, I think, something like that. and I was just talking to Dennis Milkovic about it. I'm going to do a video on this because there's been some interesting references recently with this 319. But that number, the 319, I believe is actually referencing this down here and this right here. And I think they've changed it around to 319 just so it will work with the number 1. Okay, because it's actually the word number, it's actually the word 1. Okay, which is changed into, obviously you can see the 3 there, and then they use the middle of the N as a 1, and then they bring just a little lip up there on the O to make the which is a 6, which is then flips around to 319. Okay, when you flip all that around, it flips around to 319. So you just rotate the whole word, and you've got 319. And that's the reason why I think it's 319, is because you just can't make that into, you can't keep it in the right order to sort of work it into the word 1. Anyway, I am really rambling now. A couple of other things to know. What did I want to note? Hang on a minute. There's a couple of other 28s in here we can deal with. Probably going to forget something here. Okay. So before we've done triangular numbers across the top. So if we come to this point, the triangular number here is 15, and then we go to 21. Okay. And those are mirror reflections of one another, don't forget those numbers. And so you get onto the 7 column. Now what's important about the 7 column is really the 7 column is all to do with, this is the column that actually is combining these 2 columns here, you know, the twin towers. So this is why Tower 7 had to go down on 9/11 as well, is because essentially Tower 7 is the combination of these 2, is the combination of these 2 towers. It is the balance between these 2 towers. Okay, and of course you can see Trump's ear wound right at the start of this tower here, column. But if you go to the next, so our next triangular number here again is 28. Okay, fascinating, isn't it? So the 7th triangular number is 28. Again, that is really, really, really interesting. What else did I have? I thought I had another 28 in here. I could have sworn I had another 28 in here. Oh, maybe that was it. Anyway, 28 references, again, ties back to 122 here with the total here, 122. Oh, there was another 28 reference. I'll show you it. I've got to put the other, this is what I was thinking, chart 4. So I'm going to put this 4 row in that's not normally in here, and you'll see now the importance of this 28, and again our mirror number, and that's Diana's birthday as well, the 1st of July. And so you see, you know, the 28 is a super duper important number, you know, in this particular row here. Okay, here's the 611 that kept showing up, you know. Here's the 118 here, you know. It's just absolutely crazy, right? And of course, when you put this 4 row in, you change the totals on the table, and of course here's our Trump number here. Okay, his birthday, and you know, you go across and you see, you know, 116, super duper important again. Okay, but I wanted to say, you know, that 28, look where it is, you know, look where it is right there. And of course, you know, right between 2, 3, and I guess you could, and a 33 for resurrection, but you could amalgamate those to 6. I mean, if you wanted to fudge it to a 236 connection in with this lot right here. Anyway, I'm trying to think. Trying to think. And then of course here's the 829 here with whoever that was that we looked at, and the connection back to Michael Jackson. I don't know what else to say. I think that's it for the video, to be quite honest. Gosh, don't know how long that is. Anyway, yeah, I think that's it. Okay. I know I've missed a bunch of stuff out of there, and I'm not going to remember to go back and help anybody out with. I feel like I've missed a couple of number jumps out as well. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. It seemed to me like it was a bit too obvious that she would do that and then croak a day later after releasing that. But then again, sometimes those crazy things happen, you know, where Madonna's just released something about a graveyard and she just died the next day or 2 days later or whatever. You know, the 222 is what I thought was interesting. This fact that the on the thumbnail is the same as here, and that is actually an interesting reference with Bye Bye Miss American Pie. Don McLean has his thumb up, and then in the hoverboard scene in the newspaper, there's a reference to thumb bandits. Okay, so this is interesting with the thumbnail not changing here. Yeah, and obviously 222 and the 143 and 1943 Dam Busters. I mean, you know, oh dear. Okay, leaving it there. I know there's stuff I've forgotten, but I've got to leave it there. And I'll be doing a couple more videos probably on some of this stuff later on in a few days' time. Alright, thanks for watching. Alright, cheers, bye.